Getting ready to lift up my 2015 Mazda 3. We're gonna lift it up and do an oil change on it. So this is these are the jack points. I don't know if you can see there, but pretty much anywhere on this frame rail here, this pinch rail, these two nut tabs right here indicate where you should be lifting it at. See what we got going on the front. In the front, you see the same thing. I don't know if you can see those two tabs right there. That indicates where you want to jack the car from. So basically anywhere along that pinch rail is pretty safe. I'm going to go over to the other side and do the same thing. So there we go. We're ready to lift this bad boy up. This little access port here, which is 8mm, 2 8mm, and 2 pull tabs. You just pop that sucker off. It gives you full access to the drain plug and the oil filter. No problem. It's pretty easy to do that. Just continuing, like I said, I was gonna pull the cover off. See, it's a pretty full cover. Nice access hole here for the oil filter and oil drain plug. There's another access hole up here. This is for the radiator drain the oil and pull the filter. Drain plug removal. So this is important. You want to make sure you have the right tool for the right job. So this is a hex bit. It's a 8mm. See that? 8mm hex bit. You want to make sure you got the right size. I've seen these stripped out millions of times, so get that sucker loose. Put your tool down. Reach over here. Go ahead and make sure your drain pan is in the proper spot so you're not gonna make a mess, and let her fly. Let her fly. There you go. See, you always want to use a new drain plug gasket, and we'll go ahead and loosen up the oil filter at the same time. I usually just tighten them hand tight, but sometimes they get on there tight, so I got a little oil filter wrench, and should be loose enough to get off my hand now. Take it off by hand, let it drain, get all that oil out of there. I'll just let it sit there for a few minutes and drain out. Yeah, the filter's drained off what it's got in there, so go ahead and pull that off, dump it, let it sit there. Go ahead and, I like to let the oil leak out of the pan as long as it will, get everything I can out of there. So I'll come back and get the plug back in and the filter back on in a moment. All right, y'all, it's all pretty much drained out. Still a little bit coming out of the pan, but I'm gonna go ahead and wipe clean the mating surface of the oil filter. This is super important. You want to get that clean. On the aftermarket filters and even some factory filters, the O-ring might come off. See on this filter, see the O-ring that goes around here come off, and so sometimes that'll stick on the surface, and if it does, you'll be in trouble if you don't get it off. You put a filter on top of that. It's what we in the industry call double gasketing an oil filter, and that's bad news. You double gasket an oil filter and you start that sucker up, and it might not blow right away, but eventually it will blow and drain out all your oil. So this is a Mazda factory filter. This is the factory filter for this car. I prefer to use factory filters. Gonna go ahead and get that sucker on there. They come pre-lubed, so you don't need to lube the O-ring on these ones. And then I just tighten it up, hand tight. No need to get in there and get crazy. Go ahead and take the drain plug. Now the oil's pretty much drained out. Clean up the drain plug, put a new gasket on there, and just put that sucker on. Hand tight, and then get my ratchet in there and go the rest of the way. Tighten that sucker up. We don't want to over torque it. It's a crush washer in there, so just crush the washer down and we're good to go. So that's it. And now clean up the surface, and so it's all torqued down, hand tight. Give it a little pull on the drain plug, make sure it's tight and filter's tight, everything's clean and dry, that way we know. But now all I got to do is just put the cover back on and go ahead and put some oil in it. Just finishing up this oil change service. We're gonna go ahead and put the oil in. Got everything drained, and now we're gonna go ahead and pull the cap. I like to use a funnel. You know, I have a spout, but better safe than sorry. Try to stay clean. Get the pour spout here, and it takes about 4.5 quarts. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pour it in. I got a little bit more here than I need, so I'm gonna pour it in. I always try to be careful not to make a mess. It's hard to, you spill oil everywhere, and then it's hard to tell if you got an oil leak or something. So just pouring the oil. Alright, so that should be good. Got all the oil in there. Now we're gonna pull the dipstick and check the level, make sure it's good. I already wiped it clean, so we're right above the full mark, which should be perfect for once we start it, and it fills up the oil filter and all the galley passages. Should be good to go. So there you go. That's it. Basic oil change. No problem. Easy peasy. So first things first, you know, you look at these guys and you can't really see anything initially. There is a full undercarriage shield on these new Mazdas, and so you can't see underneath it. You're gonna have to remove that shield. So here we'll just do a visual of the suspension and the struts. They are dry. I see no leakage, no problems there. All the boots and everything are in good shape, which they should be. It's a 2015. I mean, I do drive it quite a bit, but it should be in pretty good shape, you know. So struts look okay. I don't see any leakage. Everything's good. And got a little twig here. Pull that sucker out. So brake calipers are dry. Everything looks good. Let's take a look to the back. The exhaust, no damage. Everything's clean and dry. The rear shocks, dry. Rear brake calipers are in good shape. Rear sway bars good. All the bushings, no torn and damaged boots, calipers. Everything looks good. Tires are in good shape. Check for any nails or anything. Don't see any nails. Same over here. No nails. No need to patch it. We're good to go. So I'm going to do a visual of the underside of the motor, undercarriage. See, you got the motor, you got access to the exhaust bracket, the axle shafts. You can check everything. There's the filter, Mazda factory filter, like I said, I like to use. And the drain plug, there you go. All this stuff, make sure all this stuff is dry. You know, you want to keep it clean, so if you do have a leak, you can verify where it's coming from. That way they can't blow you out and say, oh no, we didn't see anything. You want to be able to know what's going on. You see your serpentine belt there. There's a dry belt, and then there's a water pump belt, and you can check for any leaks at the water pump, check for any leaks at the timing cover. Some of these Mazda 2.0, 2.5 motors tend to leak at the timing cover. Just keep an eye on that. You can get that covered under warranty if you're still under mileage. There are no leaks on this car. If there are any leaks later on, we can double check everything that we've done and make sure it's not anything that we missed or didn't tighten tight enough, and you know, go from there. Otherwise, some seepage or leakage from the actual motor or trans. But there we go. Alright, so now while we're under here, there's the radiator fans, and this is the radiator drain. Super easy to get to. If you want to service your cooling system, all you gotta do is take this access cover off. You can get in here. If you take this bottom cover off, just open this valve here, open up the radiator cap up top, and just drain out all your coolant and then refill it. That's an easy deal. We'll show you that in another video.